It's great to speak with you today, Vladislav. This is going to be an interesting topic on strategic sourcing. My first question is, can you describe what is strategic sourcing?
Okay, first of all, Dustin, thank you for the invitation to the interview. I suppose that our topic will be interesting for procurement professional. Okay, let's start. Strategic sourcing, in general point of view, is a process of systematic collection and evaluation of external and internal data. Why we need it? We need it to design sourcing strategy, and we can design the exact sourcing strategy when you deeply analyze our specification and deeply analyze the market. And if we analyze it deeply, we can also estimate and choose our strategic suppliers, and after that to design the exact sourcing strategy. Why it is so important? Currently, as you can see, there is a high volatility on commodity market, and main aim of strategic sourcing approach is to define the strategic supplier, I mean our partners, in order to implement with them the most suitable sourcing strategy. It should be a strategic partnership, and it should not be like reverse auction and so on. So the main task of strategic sourcing is to define the right strategic strategy and implement it with the right strategic supplier. So shortly, I can describe it like this.
And then, so who should care about this the most? Who cares about strategic sourcing?
Strategic sourcing requires a deep interaction between your procurement team and your internal customer, your stakeholders, and in fact with decision makers. It can be used on the first stage when we analyze the commodity category and provide the market analysis, and on the further stage when we implement the operational strategy. So it should be deep cross-functional team cooperation.
Oh, great. And then, so my next question then is, where have you seen some good results?
Currently, strategic sourcing approach use most of companies from Fortune 500, like SAB Miller, like PepsiCo, like Raytheon, Berslam Steels, and so on. And as I work in CIS market, it is a great challenge for CIS countries and CIS companies who are located there to implement strategic sourcing. Firstly, this approach was launched and successfully implemented in Chrysler. It was in the mid-90s, and the company really received good realized savings. And after this, after John Stolkamp successful realization of this strategy, most companies started to use strategic sourcing. And currently most of Western companies use it, and in fact they receive from 5 to 10% of realized savings. It is very good figures in terms of high volatility on commodity market, as I mentioned. So it's, as I mentioned, it is a big challenge for subsidiary of transnational company who's located in this market to continue it in this location in order to implement this best practice in our current activities.
And can you provide a brief background of yourself?
Okay, speaking about me, I have a broad experience in procurement. I work at procurement during the last 10 years. It is mostly FMCG companies, big FMCG companies like SAB Miller, Anadolu Efes. I manage indirect and direct spend, and my key specialties is strategic sourcing, as you can understand, supply relationship management, cost analysis, and spend management. My background, educational background, I have a master's degree in business administration in Open University Business School.
And thanks for sharing today on the topic of strategic sourcing.
Yes, thank you again for the invitation. I hope that this topic will be interesting, and I'm ready for the discussion. If supply chain and procurement professional will be interested in this topic, I will be glad. It would be grateful for me to share my thoughts about strategic sourcing, supplier relationship management, and other relevant topics.
Yep, and I'll be sharing this on LinkedIn groups related to supply chain, and also on our blog, the Kinaxis Supply Chain Expert Community. So hopefully we'll get some discussions.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.